good to be here. Excited to be standing before you. I don't do the buying at Harps, and so my overview is going to be from a little higher perspective, farther up, because I probably can't answer a number of your questions, but I'm excited to come and talk to you. My daughter works at Collective Buy, so I'm also glad to come here. And I'm going to talk a little bit about Harps in general, and then I'm going to talk about how products get into Harps. And then more importantly, I have Tim Palante of AWG, who supplies most of our goods, and he's going to talk about how a specific product would go to AWG and then to Harps. Harps is a chain of 77 stores. 77 stores. We're going to open our 78th store in about 3 weeks in Mountain Home, Arkansas. We have 4,200 associates. We are a little older than Walmart. We were started in 1930, private family-owned business, and in 2001, we became a 100% employee-owned company. So our employees, our 4,200 employees, own the company, which is really a cool thing. Employees get to share in the success of the company, and over the last 13 years since becoming employee-owned, we've put over $100 million of value to our employees' account. So it's really a great thing. If you were an employee at Harps in 2001, you have approximately 4 to 5 times your pay back in 2001 in your ESOP account. You paid nothing for that. So we believe it's a competitive advantage for Harps, and so we're really excited about our plan. Our primary competitor, as you all know, is Walmart. We compete against Walmart in just about every location. Walmart is Arkansas is the most saturated state with Walmarts in the U.S. And I know we have some Walmart people here, so you don't need to put any more stores in Arkansas. Every one of our stores competes against a super center or a neighborhood market or Walmart Express or Walmart to go or a Walmart pickup store, or maybe all of them. So in many cases, we're asking our customers to drive past not just one Walmart, but 2 or maybe more. We do compete against Kroger, and we compete against a number of independents across the 3 states. Our products, other than direct store deliveries, come from 2 sources. The primary source is through AWG out of Springfield, Missouri. And some of our stores are supplied out of Memphis. But the secondary supply of our stores is through our own warehouse called Harps Distribution Center, or HDC. Oh, there's our stores. HDC and our leased warehouse have about 200,000 square feet. So we have quite a bit of room. It's principally used to do forward buying through HWC because many of the customers of Associated Wholesale Grocers are high-low operators. They're running hot ads 2 months out of the year and then higher than Walmart the rest of the time. That doesn't work very well for us, and we want to be competitive year-round. And so when AWG puts stuff on deal or the vendor puts stuff on deal, we're forward buying into AWG in order that we can try to keep our prices as low as possible and try to compete with Walmart and be competitive on price. We also bring some products directly into HDC. This would be health and beauty care items and general merchandise, but we also bring in some grocery items as well. The primary reason a grocery product would come directly into HDC is that the vendor fees that might be required through AWG might be a hurdle that's too big for them. It might not have the terms necessary through AWG. And for example, a regional product where we can sell a great quantity of items in a specific region, indigenous to just our stores, that possibly could come through HDC. Over the last 10 years, we built stores from the ground up. We have stores that are, we're building that are primarily 32,000 square feet. We also have some that are 22,000 square feet, and we feature our perishables, and we have gas, and most of them have pharmacies as well. So that's our avenue to compete against Walmart. Our strategy is to provide the best overall value to our customers, building a reputation for competitive prices, product quality and freshness, friendly service and cleanliness. So let's set aside for a minute the part of the mission that relates to friendliness, service, and cleanliness, and just focus on products. From our mission, two characteristics are relative to our products: quality and competitive pricing. We all know and understand Walmart's strategy of being the price leader. And they've done a masterful job of developing and maintaining that strategy in our market since 1992, when we got our first supercenter. It's written on their trucks, it's written on their, it's written in their parking lots, on their signs, it's in all their media and print advertisement. Walmart is low price. We get that. No matter what Harps price is on a widget, customer perception is that Walmart is cheaper. Even if we are cheaper, we get no credit for that in our market. For us to be successful, we have to be competitively priced. Maybe not as cheap, but we have to be competitive. A potential advantage for Harps is to sell a better widget, one around which we can build a story. Our widget may be a little more expensive, but let us tell our story and the reasons that you should consider buying it. Our fresh meat. That strategy can be effective when we do a good job of explaining the differences. The widget can be better in quality, or maybe it's just a different product, an item that Walmart may not carry. With the extreme focus on organic, healthy, and gluten-free products, there are a number of opportunities for us to be different. Tim Bellotti, VP of AWG, is going to come in a minute and talk about how things get into AWG and how products are introduced there. And he's going to cover what they look for in adding a product there. They've got a number of warehouses and do over $8 billion in sales, so that's really, I think, the most important thing for you to hear today. I'm going to talk a little bit about how our product would get into Harps in general. And I spent some time with Mike Greenhall, who is our director of HDC and also the head of purchasing. Maybe some of you have talked to him. He would also be the employee at Harps along with David Ganong, who would be responsible for bringing a new product into our warehouse. In consideration of putting a product in HDC, these would be important to Mike. Products which are consistent with our mission. Products that have a higher level of quality, products that are different, and especially if they're not carried at Walmart, or perhaps a replacement product for an existing product. Maybe we can improve the price point, or maybe we can improve the quality at the existing price point. We recently added a 2-pound package of cream cookies, which had a lower cost to replace the private label offering, and thus generate a higher gross profit. Secondly, a product that has uniqueness, a wow product, one that is not merely cannibalizing the category, but rather expanding it and adding value. 3, a regional product through HDC might have appeal to customers in a particular area. We added a shake on barbecue seasoning not too long ago, which was made by a restaurant in the Boot Hill area of Missouri because people loved it. And we currently sell it at about a third of our stores. Here are some additional factors that have some importance to Mike. Marketing is important. There needs to be a way for us to tell our story. You have to build. You have to do more than just build a better product, and we have to do more than just put the product on the shelf. It's an advantage to Harps if a product has advertising support and has demo money available. Price is also critical to Harps. Number 2, I already talked about that a little bit. So we have to be competitive with Walmart. We're not going to be competitive with Walmart, but we don't want to carry the product. 3, with many products, it's helpful when the case pack is fewer units rather than more. Because we have some smaller size stores, buying a 6-pack case in many situations is an advantage over a 24 count case. Number 4, because our warehouse space is a valuable resource for us, we want items that turn. It's important to us to have items in our own warehouse that are going to turn. It has to produce a reasonable contribution of income. Turns help do that. Freight is also a factor. Freight's expensive. If a product is made in this area, it doesn't make a lot of sense to send it to AWG and then back to our warehouse. So freight can be a factor in whether a product comes into HDC or whether it goes to AWG. And I just threw this in. It's more of a subjective kind of thing, but passion and integrity. If you go in and talk to Mike Greenhall, I know you're passionate about your product. I know you really care. But if you can't show him that passion, then you're probably not going to get into Harps. So you not only need to have the passion, you need to be able to market the passion, and he needs to be able to see that. And along the same lines is integrity. You have to do what you say you're going to do. If you make promises that you don't keep, you cannot come into Harps. You won't stay in Harps if you get in. And finally, Mike emphasized to me the importance of preparation. You need to do your due diligence. You should be able to intelligently discuss how your product fits into the existing market, how you would recommend pricing relative to other products already on the shelf, and finally, what differentiation your product provides. You should be well informed about the category and well informed about Harps, having been in some of our stores. Mike indicated it was surprising that so many potential vendors are not prepared. Doing your homework is hard. It takes time and effort and analysis. But after all you've already done, it would be a shame to drop the ball at that point in the process. I have on the screen the name of Mike Greenhall at HDC. That's his name and that's his phone number. If you think that you might have some synergies with Harps, feel free to call Mike. I think he would talk to you. I know, Derek, you've been in the scene, and so if you want to talk to Mike Greenhall, there's his number. Success is never easy. The fact that it is hard is what separates winning from losing. I've got another baseball clip that I'm going to close with, and then Tim Bellani is going to come up from AWG and finish our presentation.
My name is Tim Bellani. I'm the Senior Vice President and Division Manager of Associated Wholesale Grocers, Springfield Division. AG is a co-op, and it's owned by its members like Roger, and we serve 2,500 grocery stores across the southeastern and midwestern United States. We have 7 grocery divisions and 2 general merchandise divisions called value merchandisers. And we get into some odd business too, and we service 120 military commissaries, and that's really a backward business for us, but nevertheless we are really growing that business substantially. Been in business for 88 years, so of all the things that we do, apparently we're older, and certainly not better than Walmart, but older. Last year, AG achieved $8 billion in sales, and that was a record for us. Almost a 7% increase in sales and 2% same-store sales growth, and really that's how we measure the health of our business, certainly our membership. So we're proud of that. My division does about $1.1 billion a year. We serve over 350 grocery stores in 5 states. Our largest retailer happens to be Harps, and they're certainly our most progressive and successful. And it's a blessing to my division. We're working on our 2015 sales budget right now. And our guys are projecting a $30 million competitive impact, primarily due to Walmart and their variety of formats. The good news is that we do service retailers like Harps, and they're very, very progressive. They will make up almost a third or more of that $30 million deficit in 2015. So, you know, every morning I wake up We've got to find ways to drive expenses out of our business to lower their costs. He talked about product costs and how we're going to market. You know, I think he makes a valid point on the high-low. We've got to make our retailers more competitive. The way we do that is driving costs out of the business and finding those opportunities. We have done that primarily over the last 10 years through taking advantage of technological advances, and we'll continue to do that. Now, Roger asked me to talk today about how to get products, new items particularly, into distribution at AG. And you know, it caused me to reflect back on my career in long before some of you were born. In 1981, I was actually a category manager. And you know, listening to the gentleman from Walmart, certainly the criteria from Harps, it's reminded me that the criteria hasn't changed. It's the same. And one of the things that both these guys, I heard both these guys say, is do your homework. You know, come in really, really prepared, because these people are time starved. They're going to want the punch pretty quick before they lose interest. The other thing is, we carry over 22,000 items in our warehouse, just the one in Springfield, Missouri. And that includes dry grocery, frozen, cooler, fresh items like meat and produce. And one of the things that we look at is the same thing they look at Harps and Walmart, and is that your product in some way unique, and would it add value to adding to our assortment? And then the second thing, we do give consideration, just like Roger alluded to, and I'm sure the Walmart folks do, is there some kind of local flavor, and can we take advantage of that? Regional, local, whatever. We look at your plan to market the product so we can turn it. Our warehouse turns, we've got about $60 million worth of inventory in our warehouse, and we turn it 24 times a year. Now in dry grocery, it turns slower than that, roughly 12 to 14 times. But nevertheless, if we put something in, we want it to have a good chance of succeeding in adding to those turns. And then also we look at store level support. We think it's important that if we commit to taking your item on, making room for it in our warehouse, you've got people in the stores and our independent grocers that can get out there and make sure it's on the shelf or get it to the shelf so it'll take off. We give it generally 6 months to succeed and take off and attain the kind of sales that we hopefully would expect. And then we go through as part of the process of getting into AWG, which is not unusual, there are slotting fees. And they vary by category and commodity. We carry it in AWG a lot more products than probably would make good sense or an individual retailer would. And the reason why we are so liberal with our assortment is that we've got to service the needs of lots of different kinds of retailers.
Can you talk about slotting fees?
Yes, I can.
Because I'm assuming everybody knows what slotting fees are, but they may not. So
well, basically, and I think it's very common in the industry, but we charge $8,500 per item, per flavor, per warehouse to get a product in dry grocery. $9,500 for cooler in frozen items, and you know, it's to offset our expenses in bringing those items to market. Now, slotting fees in produce, meat, bakery, and deli are considerably less than that. One of the things, oftentimes it seems like it's difficult to get items into distribution, and I think for the most part it is, especially if you're bringing to market a line extension. But we try, we're particularly sensitive to small companies that are just getting started. We can get very, very creative with how we get you into distribution. So there's kind of a little caveat there. In some cases, if you've got an item, a hand sanitizer, whatever it is, that we think offers some uniqueness, but probably is not going to turn at the rate that one of our grocery warehouses would expect it to, we can go into our non-foods and specialty foods distribution business, which is value merchandisers. And they have considerably lower slotting fee rates, and then also, again, we can even get creative if that's a problem. New items are important to us, just like any other business, and we'll work with you to get them into distribution. I want to talk just a minute and wrap it up by talking about some of the food trends, because these are things that we're thinking about as you bring your products to us. And the first thing is dealing with a time-starved, budget-restrained consumer. You know, does that item address that particular lifestyle in the challenge we've got in front of us? We notice that there's a desire for ready-made and convenient, good quality meals. You know, does it fit into that category? The trend for healthier foods is not going away. Of all the categories we've got in AWG, natural and organic is probably the fastest growing category in our grocery stores. Nutritional snacking, gluten-free, artisan, indulgent comfort foods, those things that aren't good for you but we like to eat, and ethnic flavors. You know, the millennials are eating sushi, but the boomers probably aren't real crazy about it, but the millennials are into these ethnic flavors, and we've got to be really in tune to that. Portion sizes. We notice that the smaller portion sizes are starting to sell as the boomers reach retirement age and start worrying about our midsections. Demand for clear and accurate ingredient and nutritional labeling. You know, how many times have you been up and down the aisle and you see people, our customers, reading those labels? They want to know the calories, they want to know the serving size, they want to know the sodium content, and so forth. So it's even more important now. And then finally, last but not least, the significant and ongoing growth of private brands. You know, again, natural and organic is really explosive, but natural brands, year after year after year, our best choice and always say brands seem to be growing at double-digit rates. So I think that the consumer is really moving toward more value conscious. And so basically that's what I've got. Thank you for
we have a few minutes before we break for lunch. And so if any of you have questions for Roger or for Tim, we'll do that. You guys will hang around for lunch.
Sure.
But are you going to make the reception?
No.
I didn't think you'd have to there before. So.
Would you like to try a cookie?
Yeah.
It's gluten-free.
You want to wash down?
And natural.
Remember, I'm one that is worried about my midsection.
Oh, they're gluten-free.
Okay.
And they taste good.
I want to bring up one thing real quick too, because you mentioned slotting fees, and those are fees that we have not talked about when it comes into your marketing plan. Slotting fees are going to cover his cost to put it into the warehouse. They don't guarantee you sales. So back to your marketing budget, if you're going to spend $10,000 plus or minus to get into his warehouse, there's even more now an incentive for you to make sure you've got that full strategy. It's going to be the same whether it's Walmart or whether it's O'Reilly's. It doesn't matter what retailer it is. Kroger has slotting fees. Target I know doesn't, Walmart doesn't, but there's still an expectation you're going to invest to pull it off the shelf and pull it through that supply channel. So we've talked about marketing dollars a little bit so far. We'll talk more about that this afternoon. But here's another expense that you may not have ever considered, the slotting fees. So don't go see him and try to get it in and know you're going to pay $8,500 to get it in there if you don't have a strategy to get it through Harps and out into the consumer's hands, because all it's going to do is sit there.
You know, I can add to that. You know, I mentioned back in the dark ages, 1981, when I was a category manager, I was actually category manager for Kroger. And, you know, we didn't have sliding fees back then. Right now, they're kind of a dirty word because it's a big number and it multiplies with flavors and so forth. But the consumer packaged good people are the ones that brought it to us, you know, because they were competing for just a limited number of slots. And then all of a sudden it became an expectation of the various retailers. So,
And there's some things you can do with different retailers. Kroger, I know in particular, you can sometimes get those sliding fees waived in lieu of doing demos. So it's $30,000 sliding fee. You can invest that $30,000 with Kroger to partner with somebody else to do demos in stores, and they'll waive that fee. They're still spending it. They're still getting their money. Don't think they're giving you a break on anything. But you're now putting product in a consumer's hand or in their mouth and giving them a chance to try it, which is going to translate into units moved in the store. So there's some negotiation you can do. I think maybe you may be more difficult because you're distant. But Kroger will allow that to happen.
we do too. And again, when we get our eyes, when you've done your homework, you've convinced us that we need that item. It's new, it's unique, it's going to help us. We'll take a look at that and we'll work hard to get it in. Sometimes it's an accrual. You know, maybe it's we put 5% on the cost and accrued that toward that slotting fee. We can get very, very creative with you know, getting you into.
So don't run from the sliding fee number we just gave you. There are ways you can
get around it.
What about private label? I mean, if you get your product, what do the stores look at? If you get private label, you know, have y'all's name on it, be your product.
How do you get it in?
No, I mean, do stores like that, or they don't like it, or?
The private label?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's you know, we characterize Best Choice and Always Say as a private label, but I think it's become more of a regional brand. And it's so powerful that when we have had occasionally retailers leave us for one reason or another, go to another supplier, and it almost brings them to their knees. We had actually the Dillon's chain in Springfield, Missouri. They pulled away from us and went to direct supply. They were back on our doorstep in 3 weeks saying we got to have that product. And their sales dropped, their total store sales dropped 25% because that Best Choice and Always Say it wasn't available. They started going someplace else where they could get it. So it's pretty important, especially when you establish that it's a value.
Their sales will be 100% down.
Yeah.